All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board for the board. We hope that you enjoy.
Join the KissFAQ YouTube channel. Member perks include exclusive song story demo bites, songs of the moment with contextual introductions, document and merchandise dives, KissFAQ board topic reaction videos, early access to channel content, and hopefully lots more. Click the join button on the KissFAQ YouTube channel or follow this link.
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. I'm Ken. I'm your host. Joining me is Daniel.
Hi there.
And Mark today. We're missing Julian. Julian's off playing hooky today in England, I think.
And Lonnie as well.
And Lonnie, yeah, we're missing Lonnie. Too bad he's not here either. So it's either the Three Musketeers or the Three Stooges, whichever one you want to. It's a poll. You can do that. So anyway, we got lots to discuss today in Kiss world here. Firstly, we'll get out of the way. Meet us in the mailroom. Anything new? I don't have anything new that I bought or anything like that.
Wow,
you
that's
guys
the first. Well, I got this one. I don't know if you're familiar with this one. This is the Swedish Kiss fanzine. 50 pages, glossy pages. Looks real cool. Let's see if I can show you some pics. Here you see a Destroyer, Gene. Nice. And I think that there's there's a bit of focus on Animalize in this one. So there are lots of pictures from 84, 85. I'm looking for that poster. Where is it?
Lots of cheetah print and stuff like that. Animal.
Yeah, here you got it.
There
you got some zebra.
Yeah.
And they have done something with the photos because they look even better than the original. So the great visuals in this one. Most of it is, of course, in Swedish, but this time around there's an article in English at the end, a pretty extensive article where they have interviewed, let's see here, Bruce Kulick. Pretty interesting cool. Article with some things I didn't know about. He talks about what he's going to do in 2025 and what his goals are and so forth.
So this is a recent interview that they did with him?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about avatars, he's talking about 2025, he's talking about his upcoming book and that kind of stuff. So it has to be pretty recent and really extensive and cool. So I think this is now the longest running Kiss fanzine in history. It's like 28 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So and it just continues to grow, and there's even an article by Carl Linnaeus who has written lots of Kiss books.
It's interesting because I don't know if I'm sure one of us besides me owns that hardcover book that came out a while back that shows all the history of all the sort of fanzines that came out over the years. And if you look at all the different ones that have come out, over the last 40 years or whatever, to say that this one here that Daniel just shown is the longest running, that's impressive because there were so many of them. Of course, some of them were lasted 6 months, some of them only lasted a year, but this lasted very long.
That's cool. And when I read this one, I thought about Ken. This is Dale Sherman talking about his Creatures concerts, and I'm hoping Ken will do an episode on his. I think he did. He went to 3 concerts on the Creatures night. Isn't that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
You should get redressed up how you were when you went out that night and to do a walk to the actual arena.
And include all the concert stubs and all the memories from the parking lot and
the Kiss 10th anniversary hat.
Do you have all the original clothes really that you wore that night?
I don't have. Well, no, I don't think I have the original clothes that I wore into there. But I bought a hat there. I think I bought a button.
Nice. I also got this.
The program.
Yeah. That would be an awesome episode, maybe a mini episode in the future.
Right.
I also bought this one, no Kiss connection, but my favorite movie from the 80s, Rocky 4, Russia against America, HD 4K. Yeah.
All right, that's
if
cool.
He dies, he dies.
Yeah, I must break
one
you.
other thing I want to say, welcome to everyone who is joining us live here. Of course, there's looks like 35 of us. I don't think I'm going to name everyone, but some of the first people that came in were like Wade, AB, Max, Michael, Bill,
Surfer Fan, Oberheim,
Austin,
Bernie, Super
Bernie,
Zipper.
yep. Kiss Rocks 57.
By the way, Oberheim, if I'm not,
I can't go up. Everyone.
Oberheim, if I'm not mistaken, is actually an Australian gentleman who's been watching us here.
Oh, great!
I believe
cool.
so. Having an overseas watcher is very cool, of course.
Yeah, soon we have every time zone represented here on the KissFAQ. The only Kiss podcast with persons from all over the world. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we can say that because I mentioned that it was something we were talking about. Maybe it was the B-sides thing, but anyway, where I listened to 3 different podcasts like a week ago or something. Okay. And all 3 of them said they were the #1 podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks.
I was like, what? I said, so hey, we're I don't know. Maybe we're #1 too. So I don't know. We're all #1.
That to me is irrelevant. I mean, who makes
I know. It's like how
the people.
It's just a marketing.
I've always said this. When you start saying that, when you start hyping yourself up like that, I'm the #1. This that just shows such uninsured of yourself, unbelievable.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool to hear this behind the scene talk that we have sometimes, because there is a lot of envy and jealousy in the Kiss Army, and it goes between podcasts and fans, and it goes very. It
doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense
because we're all in the same boat,
Yeah, I mean, I'm on your side there, Mark. But it's the thing is, it's the same thing, almost the same thing. I think here over in Sweden, where when a new podcast starts to get followers, other people start pointing a finger and mention, well, you were mistaken when you said that, and that isn't correct, and all that kind of stuff, because I don't know if they feel threatened or something, but it's very unfortunate. We should all be happy that we still can do this and that someone cares about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good other great podcasts out there on Kiss, and I listen to them too. Maybe I do.
What's your favorite,
you guys?
If you can pick only one.
I'm not gonna. Oh, I don't know.
It's a tie once again, guys.
I can't pick a. Yeah, I think I have a tie. There's a few I like.
Mark always mentioned that old podcast that got you into the podcast world. Yeah,
podcast.
That's your favorite.
Kiss Room is also another one I like. Going to. One of them that I sorely miss is History Science Theater. I used to love watching that one. Yeah,
that was the one you collected all the episodes on CDs.
I have them all. Yeah.
I have to go with Part of Thunder. That was my favorite, where they dissected every song in the catalog. I like that one.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about that, sorry, Ken. The only thing I didn't like about that was that they would play a song and 30 seconds later they would stop talking about it. They'd play the song, and I always.
That's the whole idea, Mark. That's the
one thing that I always hated about those sort of videos, like those analysis videos. That when I start hearing it, I want to hear the song, and why not just listen to the song and then talk about it? It's like that's when they would do that. But I understand. Part of the show, right?
It's the musician in you that's complains there. Yeah.
Oh, all of that. Those podcasts, varieties, whatever. I like to say, variety is the spice of life. So that's
That's
all right.
True.
Let's move on to some news, and it's probably becoming old news now about the Gene Simmons solo tour. Canceled a bunch of shows. I still see May shows out there, but all the April's gone. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's too.
It canceled my show, of course, that I was going to go to. Julian was going to go to that one too. I haven't seen my refund yet, though. I gotta get that. But What do you think about that? I mean, do you think there's a reason? Well, I know we talked a little bit last week. Is it ticket sales? Some people saying it's something else.
Yeah, there are a few things that could have happened. That's for sure one thing, that he wasn't moving tickets like he thought he would. But nowadays people seem to wait to buy tickets more than
to the last
before.
minute.
I think that's something that happened after the thing we had with that pandemic, that people aren't. I remember having tickets to 3-4 concerts and having to wait 3 or 4 years to see them almost. So I think people are a bit hesitant when it comes to buying tickets, and especially if the guy playing is well over 70, they might hesitate a bit. But I think he would have moved enough tickets to make a buck on that tour. What else can it be? Well, maybe something else popped up that will generate more money for him, because it's always about the money, I think. But I think he enjoys playing live, and I still think we will see him. Maybe he'll be over here in the summer. I certainly hope.
Well,
Yeah.
I kind of think that the tickets are a part of it. I mean, there was a few people that went on Facebook and would like show like the graphic, like when you go and buy tickets, you can pick a seat, and they would put these graphs up, and they'd say, look at this, like almost 3/4 of the arena is still available.
Mm-hmm.
Like he hardly sold anything. They would show the graphic. So in some areas it was pretty obvious that he didn't move stuff. And you don't forget too, and I think Josh was trying to mention this here, that Josh Hefner guy, that the promoters, they have a lot to, put up with this too. They're the ones who have to pay, and they don't want to, guarantee Gene a huge amount of money and then like only 500 tickets sell. So you have to convince them to keep it on sale, right? Otherwise, I'll just pull the plug on it, right? So and walk up ticket sales. I know that that's always the one thing that people always talk about, like but a lot of people come the day up, but that is so risky from a promoter's point of view. Like to them have to kind of wish at the last minute within the next 3 hours all these tickets are going to go. It's not a good place to be at. Most promoters would rather just have the assurity that the ticket's actually sold, and there you go, right? So I think that's it. And the other thing, maybe this Las Vegas thing had something to do with it. Maybe this whole thing was coming up, Gene said, well, forget about this thing. This is more important. It's probably going to generate more income and blah, 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 right?
Just got to start practicing.
Yeah. I think Julian mentioned a pretty cool idea. If they could pull that one off, is to continue this thing in different cities, like Kiss Army invades Stockholm and so on. That could be pretty cool. Have like 10 events in Europe or something in different.
That's
countries.
Like touring again, though, right?
They
said that they would never do again. Right?
Hold that thought, Daniel, because we'll get down to the that convention thing that's going on coming. All right. So next, Ace. Anyone see the Ace in Orlando?
Was that
SeaWorld? It was like a
outdoor show there.
Outdoor.
Yeah.
It started in the daylight, and it was okay. I saw it. It's not Ace in his prime, but it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the worst. There's some good moments in that show.
I have to say, I saw bits and part of it as well, and I think he's been improving lately. I think this last few concerts have been way better than maybe a year back or so. So I think he's found his mojo again. Then of course he's deaf, he's almost blind maybe, and he's old.
Can't hear.
You can't compare with Prime Ace, of course, but. Taking all those things into consideration, I think he did a hell of a job, and I like the way the band is backing him up. So if he would play here, I think I would go and see him.
Yeah. No, I didn't get to watch it, but so I can't make any kind of critical assessment of it. But I did watch a couple of other ones from this more recent run of shows, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, like I agree with Daniel for sure. Like the last year or two before, man, there were some really hard concerts to listen to there. He was behind and he was sloppy as hell, and the singing was really terrible. But I think it's better now, and I think the band has a lot to do with it as well. Maybe they kind of sat down and went over things a little bit. Not like with the songs. I think maybe they just arranged it more so that he could maybe hear things better on stage. Maybe they rearranged some of the way they've set up stuff. Who knows? But whatever they did in the intern, I think helped make it a bit more of a, better playing condition for all involved.
I think he nailed some of, maybe not nailed, but some of the solos sound really cool. So I would love to watch those solos live. He nailed some of the which one was it that I thought was so good? I think it was Cold Gin sounded great and stuff like that. So kudos to him doing this at 74 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta give it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Now, let's go to something here. I have the next little thing. We got the Just to
merchandise. Merchandising. You put the name on everything.
There it is.
Hell yeah.
Just to Kill merchandise.
Kiss the flamethrower.
So let's get into this. So it's the Just to Kill. They at least released some merchandise, but I don't know if it's what we were looking for. So here we are with these, $100 jerseys.
Yeah, the prices are
Souvenir bat.
A bit ridiculous.
It's an 18-inch bat, and your raglan shirt, and what I really hate is this Dress to Kill hat. It's like you can't see it. It says Dress to Kill in black stitching and Kiss in black. I was like, what are you trying to do?
I'll tell you one thing. That Dress to Kill bat is going to sell out, and I can tell you who's going to buy them. All the wives of the Kiss collectors are going to buy it for smack their husbands upside the head for buying these $100 jerseys.
They're going to break. They're going to break their Kiss toys with it. They'll be whacking them off the shelf and all that kind of stuff. And
but these prices, but I think these prices for T-shirts and stuff are unbelievable because you just have to search the web and then do you see this one? Can you see this one? This is a T-shirt. I think this one looks pretty cool. Do you know how much it is?
30?
It's let's see.
Show that again.
$7. $7. I guess some little kid in China.
It's probably not official. It's probably something.
No. It's not official, but it looks pretty cool. Pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Probably
that doesn't go to Kiss's pocket, so they don't care. Right?
No, they don't care. But that's the thing. How can people go and buy shirts at those prices?
I understand. Yeah,
when you can get one for $7 and it looks, it's in the same ballpark.
Daniel, we were talking about this before. Kiss could do it. They could go there and say, "Listen, I want to sell the T-shirt for $25," and they can still make a profit off it. I mean, I've looked into all this stuff before, and I'm sure lots of people have as well, selling their own shirts. You can still make it affordable and have some profit into it as well. But the problem is Kiss just want more and more and more and more and more profit. Where does it stop? $100 jersey. Next time it's going to be $120 jerseys. And then it's going to be, when hockey season comes around again, it's going to be $250 hockey jerseys then. There has to be a stop somewhere,
Well,
here's another one. $7. So you can get two different types for $14, and they look sure as hell as good as Kiss.
Let me show you something else, Daniel.
Yeah.
These shirts here. Now, these aren't in the Kiss store. They are from the Just to Kill live, the walking tour thing. Yeah. And they were sold at that pop-up at the record shop there in New York City. And these are actually nice shirts. They really look cool. The standout of the faces on the one, and one in the pink is fine. I actually like the one on the left. I thought, I hope they sell that, but they're not. They were actually they had others. They had a limited amount of shirts out there. I can't remember. There was a link. It's on the FAQ board. But I went there. I was going to say, okay, I'm going to maybe buy one. It's like $30, $35 or something like that. And it's not $100, right? Yeah. And I got there and it was, the extra large and all that were gone. It was only small and medium, I think, or whatever. I don't know if there are any left now, but I thought, they need to, sell this kind of stuff. Why don't they design this kind of stuff for their online store instead of the other crappy designs that they do a lot of the time? I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. They would make a lot more sales, So I'm hoping that they somehow release these at some point and make them available. But supposedly they're not, because there was like a limited thing.
Yeah,
But you
well,
never know. I would hope they do it. Yeah.
Now,
And the other real quick thing is regarding this, and then the stuff about what did they miss, Kiss or Kiss Online or whatever, with the Dress to Kill? Yeah, they got a baseball thing. Baseball starts here in the United States. That's why they did this baseball theme thing, but not everyone's into baseball, right? So did they really miss out on something here? Because there's no box set yet. No gold vinyl or colored vinyl or any special thing yet. Did they, miss out? Did they blow it here?
Well, I think
Canada loves those box sets.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool that they are releasing a lot of stuff. I mean, we have lots to talk about. If you compare this episode and the last episode we did, more things have happened for Kiss during that period of time than all of last year. So even though they are just releasing T-shirts and this audio tour and stuff like that, things are starting to happen, and I think we have just seen the end of the beginning. So it's starting to happen things. So I think we'll get. Yeah, I tried to think of the Winston Churchill quote, but I couldn't remember it quite. But when he talks about the Second World War, that's such a great quote.
Yeah.
But maybe it's the end of the beginning, and we'll see what happens in the upcoming months. I think we're up for some surprises.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Daniel made a good point that compared to how things were last year, we had nothing to talk about. It was complete crickets at that point. But, now things are out, and that's good. So we shouldn't be complaining from that end of it. But, I mean, you can't help but also kind of be not disappointed, but just wish that there was stuff that they could do something that was appeased to everybody, not just the high-end seller. Something that the middle of the road guy can get as well, right? Sure, you want the big ticket items, sure, make them available. Who cares, right? Do it. If someone wants to buy it, they buy it, right?
Yeah.
But put something in for the middle guy as well. I mean, come on, man. Like those shirts that Ken was showing, why not put a $25 shirt out there so that, something that people will buy? I'm a T-shirt guy. I always buy T-shirts. Hence, I have another one here. Right. Yeah. So, and a quick word of not warning, but a little heads up for people like Ronnie Parker, who says, I'll take a $7 shirt any day. So will I. At our Walmart here, we have like these cheap Kiss T-shirts, but the problem with those is that you wash them twice and they're already half faded because they're so garbage, right? But
you mean that Kiss Online has this high quality T-shirts? Kiss Online.
Well, the ones I have from Kiss Online, they still look fantastic. They're still very solid, but again, you have to know how to wash them inside out.
Maybe you just don't. Maybe you just don't like washing.
Well, no, I wash them all the time. But
okay.
You got to do it inside out. You have to wash it cold water. And I hang dry them. I don't put them in the.
Wow, this is the next mini episode.
You hang dry them.
Mark's washing
how do you take care of your
T-shirts.
how to take care of your clothes and Kiss merchandise?
Exactly.
That's going to be its own
part
episode,
one.
I think.
Yeah, part one. Yeah.
All right, let's get off of that. I'm hoping, just to say, Just to Kill stuff will probably come later. I think they can't do it all at once because they have the Strutter thing. They did now the baseball merch thing. And then they do now this Las Vegas thing. That's a lot of money at one time that someone, if everyone's going to actually spend money on all of that, that's a lot to do at once. They need to spread it out a little bit. Maybe Just to Kill be in a couple of months or something, the actual box set. I'm hoping.
That's a good point, yeah.
Something like that. They need to space out. Oh, now, the other thing real quick, I didn't put it on my notes, but the Off the Soundboard.
Yeah.
It did sell out, but then it didn't. They put it back on because they were pressing some more, I think, because of the demand. I guess they put another order in that those will come later on, like in June or something like that. June or July, I don't know. So
a big problem. A big problem with that was that they first said, or at least I understood it as if it would only come out on vinyl, and then that CD popped up in Japan, and then suddenly, from left field, it said, "Well, tomorrow the Off the Soundboard premieres on Spotify." So I listened to it on Spotify the other day.
Yeah, I listened to it.
Yeah, I have to say it's a cool show. There's lots of things happening, few mistakes here and there, and Gene is really vocal in this concert. He tries some of his in between songs banter, and it doesn't work. He hasn't learned anything. I remember him screaming at the audience in '74 on one of those bootlegs. How many are you out there? 100. And that's it. It's like his banter between songs. It's so terrible. It's so and it wasn't any better on this Asylum show from, I think it was from Texas somewhere, San Antonio or something.
Yeah, San Antonio. I mean, I listened to it too. Somebody posted it. Actually, it was a Kiss site. Actually, I think it might have even been Kiss official who put the whole thing out already
on YouTube,
on there.
On Kiss.
Yeah, on YouTube. And I listened to the whole thing. I gotta say, I'm used to the fact that they're playing fast at this point, and it's not very tight. They are kind of sloppy live at this point because they play so friggin' fast. I mean, but there are a few things on this thing that I just wonder about. Like, why in God's name did they put that ridiculous Paul guitar solo in there? It's just so terrible, that guitar solo. It's just shit. All those solos are just complete skips. The bass Gene thing is garbage, you know. Yeah. The drum solo is okay, but I mean, Paul's, some of the in-between banter with Paul is just so long. It's like, hurry up, man, get to the fucking song. You know, it's like taking forever for him to get through some of this stuff. And it's just, he's trying so hard to be so cool, which is so uncool. You know, it's like, give me a break, man.
Yeah, looking back at it.
But did you notice on the Eric Carr solo that one of his, those pads didn't work?
Yeah,
it sounds like
or whatever.
Don't.
I really enjoy that.
But one pad isn't working. Then after a while, he tries to hit other pads instead, and then the melody of those things becomes completely.
Unfortunately,
Mr. Schimbatti, I would rather skip over a solo and have an incomplete show. You know what? With that hard time that they used in it, they could have put another song. But I'm guessing that's the full concert, anyways. When you have all that shit in there as well, right? But it wouldn't have bothered me having that added there, those parts. I mean, and some of the thing like the Gene thing. I mean, back in the day, when they would include those solos on the vinyl or the audio, you have to kind of envision him doing the blood thing or doing something so it makes sense. Yeah. But that's the problem with just audio. You don't know what the hell's going on. It just is.
No. He should have had that. He should have brought that cape that he bought for, I don't know, $50,000. That with do you remember that one? He had it for one show, a red thing that with lamps and lights over it. He just used it once and then he never used it. It looked terrible on stage.
I did notice on you talked about those drums, Daniel. The synth drums that it was on, like Tears Are Falling.
Yeah, you heard them.
You can really hear them.
Yeah,
I never heard that before. I don't think I heard it in a concert.
Yeah,
but it's like, that sounded kind of cool to me. It's like,
I like it as well.
That's the beauty of having soundboards, is that you can hear
it. Worked. It was brought up.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, and then there are some for example, Gene. When it's time for Eric Carr's solo, it's Gene calling out, Eric Carr on the drums. I've never heard that before. Have you ever heard Gene saying that? It's always Paul. So I don't know what was happening on stage and then Gene or Eric is supposed to start War Machine right after that, but he forgets, so he starts Eric. But then he remembers he's supposed to start the.
But Gene is this is a very strange era for Gene, because this is also the time when you watch him on stage when he does those scissor kicks, those karate kicks he likes to do at this time, but he never does before or after, I don't think, since these two. But he does these really odd karate kicks.
I think
maybe because because Paul does those spin kicks and he's good at that, but Gene looks like he's trying some judo warm up or something.
I think the good thing is with the tracks on this, because you could cut out the solos and that stuff and just put the tracks, I think, make your playlist and eliminate like
That's
the
true.
Paul solo, Gene
Yeah.
solo.
Yeah.
I'd keep I like the Eric. I always like Eric solos.
Yeah, the drum solos
what he
are
does.
good.
He's inventive on what he does. But
I think
and Bruce, So.
Yeah, I think a great thing with this one is that you don't see them, because when you see those silly Asylum outfits, it takes away from the show. I think this reminded me so much about Animalize Live Uncensored. It's like Animalize Live Uncensored 2 almost. There's not a whole lot of differences, and they only play 2 songs from Asylum. That's too bad. And it's only like the 4th show of the tour or something like that, and they have already skipped. I think they started out with King of the Mountain they had for a show or 2 in the beginning, and also a Gene song. Which one was it? Any Way You Slice It or something?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just skipped those. So I think that's a bit unfortunate, because it's really the Animalized show all over again. Even Paul Solo is a carbon copy of his Animalized solo. Gene solo as well, so it's really lazy.
It brought the one thing, good thing, when I was listening to it, it kind of brought back memories for me, because I was at the Asylum concert.
Okay.
I believe.
Which one?
Who opened? What was it? Wasp on that one? I think
we can look
Cow
in this
Palace?
great book.
It was at the Cow Palace. It was.
I would guess. Yeah.
And San Francisco, and I remember the extra rapping stuff that Paul does and stuff like that. But I remember it being there and very colorful.
Yeah.
And those the Kiss logo.
That's huge. Yeah.
It was huge. I mean, it was those spotlights, and they turned and everything. It was kind of cool. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoy most Kiss concerts, almost all of them.
Yeah, of course.
But it was very. I remember it very colorful with the lighting and everything else, and of course their, fluorescent color outfits or whatever.
That was their shtick for that, right? That was their color palette. That they had,
it was
right?
the thing.
All color. Yeah.
It was the thing.
Do you remember the date, Ken,
well.
of the show? So for Daniel, what the date was?
I can't remember.
Remember October?
I thought it was in the earlier part of the year. I could be wrong.
Probably autumn, wasn't it? They usually
year.
start around then.
Which was the opening act? You said it was.
I think it was.
It was Wasp. Okay, they didn't play too many shows. Let's check that. Well,
anyway,
if you remember,
it's all right.
One of the shows leaked via Sam Loomis. One of the Tears of Falling shows.
Oh yeah,
and that was the first time I really got a good look at that huge logo in the back. And at one point, it lighted up like the American flag. I didn't know that before I saw prior to seeing that show. So I think it was It was a really cool logo and something new for Kiss. But I guess even back then, Kiss fans probably complained, why don't they use the original logo?
Yeah, the last shows, it's all digital. This last number of years, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to one of the more of the main topics here. First, I'm going to say that there's this one comment from Dee Snider regarding the Las Vegas, the Kiss Army Storms Vegas thing. And when he heard the news, he said,
I found it.
So I was told today that a Kiss reunion in Vegas has been announced 14 months since the last farewell. That may be a new record for them. I can't believe people still put up with their shit. To me, it's insulting. So anyway, he said that. He always has to say something about it because he can't do it. That's the problem. There's a little bit of jealousy there, I think, always from Dee Snider. So let's do this. I got a special video that from our fearless leader about this deal here, and we'll talk more about it here.
All right. Fire it up.
All right, boys, good to see you. I'm heading to London to have a curry, literally. So I won't be able to join you this week. Anyway, I wanted to just offer my opinions briefly on a couple of this week's topics. Well, first of all, the Off the Soundboard. I VPN'd into Australia this morning to check out that release, and it was bloody marvelous.
It's exactly what I was hoping for. I think they've been very gentle with it in terms of its EQing. They've left it very natural. It felt slow, like it had been slowed down a little bit, but, comparing it with a couple of others later, it sounded in line with, I think, the Charlotte soundboard from later in December. So very enjoyable, very happy with it. I'm looking forward to digital because I'm not flipping that sucker 6 times over in 90 minutes. All right, the other big news, obviously, is going to be Kiss Army Storms Vegas. The pricing is out for the pre-sale, and there's a lot of discussion about the value of that. As expected, it's going to be a cruise on land in Vegas, so everyone's going to have an opinion on whether it's worth it to them. I'm on the fence at this point. Really, the only packages that interest me would be the one including the sound check and all of the add-ins, the tiering and the exclusivity, and the pass holes will be ambling around just like on the cruise. I really am just not into that scene. So right now I'm not sure if I'm interested. Billing Kiss as Gene and Paul, that doesn't bother me. Kiss is Gene and Paul and has been since 1983 and as a business since 1987, so that doesn't make me butthurt. No one's got a gun to my head making me go or not go. But it's so far away in November. There's football season, there's Thanksgiving. It's the down season or the start of the down season in Vegas, so I'm really not too sure of it. I would love to get the book done with Ace and be able to debut at that. If there's international fans coming in, I'd much rather be in Las Vegas doing an Ace-related event as a bumper car to what's going on. So it is what it is. It's the first event of the future. It's the first event since December 2023. Yeah, that is good. It's an opportunity for fans to get together. That is good. Whether it's a value to you, that's debatable. And again, I'm not sharing a room with anyone, so that's why I put up on the site the pricing for the room all in versus per person in a room. And that arrangement will work for many people, just like it did for the cruise. It happens to not be my taste. I can't think of anything worse than sharing a room with someone at one of these events. I like my privacy. I like my space. But other people aren't in their room very much. So it sounds like there'll be plenty of activities. There's plenty of action, and you're in Vegas, so we'll see how this goes. Again, there hasn't been a proper expo, an official Kiss one, in years. There has obviously been the Kiss Cancer Goodbye charity. So we're seeing the beginning of the future of what events are going to look like and how they're going to be priced. And I'm sure things will get adjusted along the way and lessons will be learned. So that's it. I'm getting back to my beer. Cheers. And I'm thinking about my curry after a very long flight. So I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. A special message. His thoughts on the soundboard, but the other stuff, and most not importantly, but about the Kiss Army Storms Vegas thing, which is like he said, a convention or a Kiss cruise on land. So
on land, yeah.
I think that's a great idea. It has to push the Ace book at that event, or be in somewhere in that area pushing the book. Maybe have Ace in a building and a signing and stuff like that.
Signing with him right next.
Yeah, a book signing next doors. Kind of use Kiss for leverage there. So
there you go.
I think he should do something like that if he can pull that one through. But I just quickly, Ken, I have to tell you, you went to the Cow Palace in February.
Okay,
the
sounds
4th.
about right.
Yeah,
early
6,000 in attendance, and I have to just read 2 sentences from the review. It's so bad. That Kiss had lasted this long qualifies as something of a minor miracle. But it doesn't look like there is much life left in these grandfathers of heavy metal.
Grandfathers. Wow.
In 85.
That's 85, and they're grandfathers at that time. They were thought
funny.
to be. Yeah, that's pretty typical of a lot of reviewers at that time. I enjoyed it. That's all that mattered, right?
Yep.
The people who went to see it.
Sure.
So,
Exactly.
because the critics know half the time anyway. So let's get into this Kiss Army Storms Vegas. I'll show you some things. Yesterday, the VIP sales went on sale. The packages and all that sale, and I have the packages here. Let me bring it up here. I can't read it because it's so small. But sorry, I tried my best.
Yeah, I see it.
Um,
Ultimate experience.
there's the ultimate experience, and there are logos knocking it some out. But the
Well,
high
let's
end
just
is on the left, and the
yeah,
low
and the
end is on
low
the
and
right.
right. Signature package is 1,000
Yeah, and the first two,
794.
if you see the first two, they were sold out as of
Mm.
last night. I don't know when they sold out. So people were able to get these full packages, which has things like I'm trying to read it all. 3 night stay. All those are the same, but then you get extra stuff. The photo with signs, merchandise, and it's like Julian was saying, the special seating. Early entry into the certain events. Special close seating by in these events, whether it's a concert or these other little question and answer sessions and that sort of stuff. And I don't know. Is it that much more for that extra stuff? You have to pay that much more. It's kind of like I compare it to like a Disney Land Fast Pass or whatever they call those kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like express. You're paying for the ability to get to things early and be there early and get the best seats and that sort of stuff. That's a lot of money.
Hell yeah. Do you know anyone who has bought a package?
Personally, I do not know.
I know a few Swedes that have already bought packages and are going. So people will come from
Interesting.
every corner of the world. I think there seems to be, people want this. It's not for me, but there are people out
If
there
you
that
can
want to
do
do
it,
this.
if you're able to do it and you have the money to do it, I have no problem. That's great. I think
Great
it's a
for
cool
them.
thing. I still think the prices are kind of crazy.
Outrageous.
I mean, I know it's you're getting 3 nights stay. You're paying for a 3 night stay at the hotel, so maybe that's still, if it's 300 a night, that's just on the high side. I don't know if those are the real room prices for a standard person if they just go to that hotel. But it just seems like it's a little expensive, obviously. So you're paying 4,500, just say for the whole spiel, on the big one there. So if you go down to the basic package of 1,000, was it 1,194? You're not paying maybe that much extra. If it is $390, you're just gonna get the concert and a few other things going on. Nothing signed, no picture with Kiss. Now the other thing is they say it's with Kiss, but Kiss is only Paul Stanley right now at this point. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley with guests. I know Bruce Kulick is going to be there too. And then do we know why it's guests? I think they didn't offer enough to Tommy and Eric maybe for these.
Well, Julian went over
yet.
that Kiss has always been Paul and
It is
Gene
the Paul and
since
Gene show.
So why are we surprised? I mean, that technically is who Kiss is.
Yeah. I mean, if they could get, get Ace. Can they get Ace? Can they get him?
Oh
Can they
God,
get?
Ken.
I know.
You
but-
you and your dreams of kumbaya, let's get back together and hold hands and everything's good again. It ain't gonna happen. This guy wants too much money. He's been upset with these guys. They've abused him verbally over the years and stuff like that. Really, you think he's gonna play nice and yeah, I'll come and help you guys out. He's gonna make it as hard as possible.
Yeah. The other thing is someone had asked, I think Keith asked him, well, I live in Vegas or the area.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to buy the package? Can I just get the ticket to get into the events and stuff?
Day pass.
No, you have to buy packages. And all the packages include, why do I want to stay at a hotel if I live at
They
my
want
home?
your money. That's why.
It's like they should allow, to me, they should allow, you to
And it makes
maybe
sense, Ken.
go somewhere else.
it makes total sense that they should offer a day pass for people who are from the area. Even like if you live in California, it's a short, not a big drive to go there from California and back again, right? You just buy yourself a day pass. You can go and hang out, enjoy all the things, and then go back. If you want to, if you want to make it, more money for you, if you're going to lose on the hotels and stuff, then make another event that people have to buy, and pay cash for when they get there. I'm sure they can find extra things that they can take people's money from if they're worried about losing out on the hotel profits that they would make. But I mean, that's the thing. They want maximum cash for all this stuff. So the idea of somebody getting a day pass for let's say what, $600 or whatever to go in for the day, that to them just seems unbelievable. And then Bernie, you're saying to invite Ace and Peter. Peter, I can't imagine Peter going to do it. Number one, I think he's too happy being in his comfortable life now without any drama and shit like that. So I don't think he wants to do it. And again, Ace is going to be one of those people who wants cash, just like Max said. He'll probably want $250,000 just to go there and spend 3 days, which is ridiculous too. But at this point, Kiss should be used to ridiculous things. So why not at least think about it? But it's the day pass, I think, is a good idea, but they won't do it,
No. Yeah, no. If you remember when Vinny started his stuff, I thought it was so silly. Eat a salad and see Vinny strum the guitar for a minute or two, and get a pin. Like $1,000. I thought, wow, this is so crazy. He's so desperate. Now Kiss almost are looking at what Vinny did. The least amount of effort. And the most amount of money out of it. I think it's to me. As you mentioned last week, Mark, I wouldn't pay that much extra money for what I'm thinking is going to be a pretty subpar performance by Kiss, or if it's even Kiss, if it's Gene, Paul, and friends. We don't really know what will happen there, but I think it's insane. But since it's the only way to get to see Kiss in any shape or form, I guess some fans feels like, well, I have to go.
And here's the other thing that kind of annoys me. One of the things here that they're trying to sell you on is saying Q&A with members of Kiss and Doc. Get up close and personal with Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and Doc McGee during an exclusive Q&A session where they share stories, behind-the-scenes moments. You know how this is. Every time you've seen an interview with Doc, he doesn't answer anything. He always goes and
same
does,
questions and same answers.
Yeah, it's always beat around the bush. No inside details on anything. Already. Yeah, he doesn't tell you anything. It's going to be the same shit again, and you're paying what for extra for that? Come on, well, it's included in the price, but still, these things are just they're not even worth doing. You just go back and watch an interview with them 5 months ago. You're going to get the same answers.
Yeah, and they got some kind of you get the shuttle express from the hotel to the airport and back, and the high price one is they all have access to your own unique car or something like that shuttle. It's like, wait a minute, how many people did they sell for that? And if they're all going to go at the same time, is there enough cars to handle that? I don't know what service that's going to be, but that's maybe Gene or Paul will go back to his taxi days and get in a taxi and drive you personally for that price back and forth to the hotel. That would be good.
I mean, you guys are into a few other 70s bands. Is this common that, over the hill type of bands start doing different kinds of, expos, convention stuff in order to get money and play acoustic? Or
that's a great question, because I'll tell you something. None of the bands that I really are into do this kind of stuff. I've never seen there are Rush conventions that I've seen here and there, but none of them are run by Rush themselves. They're always just fan run stuff that they do themselves, right? And Alex and those guys always said, whatever. If they enjoy doing it, we don't mind, and we don't have any. They'll never go in there, storm a Rush convention, and take back shit and bring it back into their 94 collection. Yeah, exactly. Or do stuff like that. They don't care. They're just if fans are enjoying it, great. And that's it. And they have, they do all these little different compilation records now in tribute to Neil Peart and stuff. And they never get in the way of that stuff. Just let them do it. So they're a band that doesn't do that. That some of the other bands I listen to, like Genesis, I've never seen anything like that with them. I've never seen any kind of convention with King Crimson, and I'm pretty sure Robert Fripp would never endorse something like that. He's not about that kind of stuff, right? I think Kiss is the only band that I know that would personally go ahead and spearhead something like this. Like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah. Imagine 30 years ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago, I paid $100 for a Kiss convention. I got to see the Kiss. I came into this Kiss convention. I remember coming in. Actually videotaped some of it. I have it on a VHS right now still. But I came in and they had the Kiss tribute band actually playing in makeup at the time. And it was a great tribute band. I don't know if it was, who was playing in that band at the time. It could have been Tommy and I'm not sure anymore. And the other, I can't remember his name now. But who does Gene, who does a great Gene. Spiro.
Yeah, Spiro. Papa.
He was great.
Anyway,
they were great.
Surname.
And then you walked around these glass cases of, drums, the mannequins with the makeup and the original outfits on these things. And I'm just staring at them close up, right? Through all this merchandise, the guitars, all the different guitars and things. And it's just all kinds of stuff, and that was so cool. I was like, wow, this is so awesome. And then after that, you had the Kiss acoustic, unplugged performance, which they just played random. People were shouting out stuff. We sat on the floor right in front of the stage.
Yeah.
We're just sitting on the floor, not standing or anything. We're sitting and watching Kiss, sitting on their stools, playing, and it was like, wow, it was just an awesome experience. And then after that was all over, they did a signing. And they were signing whatever stuff you had, and like they were selling the Kissery books at that thing too, at that time too. So anyway, I'm just saying, what a difference between that and this new thing that at least in price.
But Ken, you're forgetting a very important thing. This was 94. Kiss couldn't get arrested then. They canceled a tour, for crying out loud, for Revenge, because nobody was buying tickets for it. So, and I remember when they came to Toronto here, me and my friend went, and it was pretty attended, but it was nowhere near packed at these things. And I felt bad for what's his name, Eric Singer and Bruce. The autograph tables, Paul and Dean had these huge lines for them, and there was 3 people at Bruce's and maybe one guy at Eric's talking to him for a half an hour because nobody really cared at that point for them, right? And it was a different time. $100 then, they were lucky to get probably $100 at that time to do it because nobody was
expensive at the time.
And that's the thing. Nobody cared.
A lot more than a concert,
as they would now. Now, if you were to tell those people back in '94 that they would be paying, $5,000 to go see Kiss, they think that you're insane.
Yeah. So I mean, again, if you're able to do that,
of course.
I think it's great if you're able to. I mean, the highest price package is just. I pay a little bit less, almost twice amount just on property taxes in California. Okay, just don't move to California, people. All right, I'm just telling you right now. Let me show you something now. We had a couple of polls regarding this out there. 2 polls. Here's one of them. This was on the board, and this one said, "Which Kiss Storm's Vegas package are you doing?" So we had a total of 200 and how many votes?
206.
Maybe I gotta make it bigger on my screen. 206 votes. So look at this. None of the above. So the first one was Signature Experience Package. The Signature Plus. Those are the lower price ones. The top ones.
The Signature Plus got 7 votes.
I mean, you got 5 people to do the Ultimate, which is
the exclusive got 2.
Great.
I think that's enough for Kiss. If they get 10% of the army to go, that's enough.
Yeah.
To make money. But it says it surely shows that the true Kiss army, the ones attending the KissFAQ boards, they are not going to this event. Most of them, of course, it's a pricing thing as well. I mean, it's if
you
you're a
think
blue
about the air
collar,
package, the flight too costs money.
as well. So it's I mean, if you have a wife and children, how can you say like, well, I'm going to go and spend this amount of money to see Kiss drumming guitars and buy some Kiss stuff? I sure as hell couldn't say it.
Listen, I could have bought the Ultimate Experience if I wanted to, but I could see that's going somewhere else. That money. Do I really need? I'm a huge Kiss fan, obviously, but I just there's other things in life that I have to consider over Kiss, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way that is. I got another poll.
It's like we said, this is going to people who have a lot more, expendable or extra cash to use in these situations. They have the funds to do it. A lot of the regular folk just don't have that kind of cash available for that. Okay, what's this next one?
Yeah, this one was similar. This was on the Facebook site, the group site of KissFAQ. About the Kiss One-Off concert to be held in November in Vegas. This is way early, before he even went on sale. I put up there. It says how many I'm going. Not a lot. I'm going. Not going is the majority. It's kind of like that other poll. And this only if Ace and Peter show up. There's a low amount there, and then maybe if the price is right. This is before the prices came out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm assuming this that would probably, the price is not right for a lot of people. No. That's why some people are not, like myself, I'm not going. So anyway, I think I selected maybe if the price is right at the time, because that was, again, before the actual prices came out. So tells you something.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else on the Kiss Las Vegas? Any other comments on that? I hope they do more, or maybe other location. Maybe they'll do one a year. I think some of this is like a testing the waters for Vegas because of the avatars coming in a couple of years. Like they're generating excitement, or seeing how many people would just come to this thing, and maybe next year they'll do another one, and then the next year after that will be avatars. I don't know if that's part of the strategy. I have no idea. I'm not part of Pop House or anything, so I don't know what the strategy is there. You
make a great point there. This is like their first try at it, and then they can improve it, shape it, form it so it will suit more people, or they can expand it or take away things that didn't work, and maybe it'll be a thing, this Kiss Army Storms, and then just add a city, and maybe it can be improved, or it becomes a total clusterfuck and this is the only time we'll see it. If they make a lot of money this time around, I sure as hell think they will try it again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's done and if they're testing the waters, and if that's what they actually end up doing, where they're like, okay, this didn't work out, this maybe was too much, blah blah blah, let's adjust it. Then I think it's worth trying, for sure. I mean, if you're testing the waters with this, then maybe it's worth doing, because if the next time they come around and they suddenly give us ideas like, a day pass, or it's maybe like $1,000 less than it was, or whatever, just different ideas for it, then, and people kind of say, okay, this is more like it, then it was worth doing.
Yeah. All right, let's get off of that crazy thing. And we'll see, how it goes, and it'll be interesting. It's a long way off. It's in November, and we'll see how that goes. We're getting close to wrap up time, so I have another thing here for you guys, a poll kind of thing. So you have $100. It's related to the Kiss Dress to Kill stuff. You have $100. Which do you buy? Ready? Do you buy the Dress to Kill 50th baseball jersey with that 100, or do you buy the Rush 50th CD hardcover book and CDs, that set? Or do you buy the Wasp Savage 7 CDs and the hardcover book? Which of those
Well,
three do you buy? If you have $100, which of those three?
I can start. I can start. Well, no one cares about baseball over here, to be pretty honest. So the baseball shirt, I don't get that thing. I'd rather get a cool-looking T-shirt or a sweatshirt or something.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's out. And then it's Rush or Wasp. For me, it's Wasp. I've always been a big fan of them. A big fan of theirs, and I especially enjoy the first album, and the one he did in the early '90s. What's it called?
Kill, Fuck, Die?
No, not that one. Do you like that one? That industrial,
Not
mean,
really, no.
dark shit. No, I don't like that one either. But the one about Jonathan, the story about Crimson Idol, Crimson Idol. I like that one. And then the other albums has a song here and there that I like as well. But I would go Wasp. Rush has never been my cup of tea. I wonder what Mark would spend his money on.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, before I answer that, the Rush 50 CD hardcover book is over $100 here in Canada. It's like $147, but still,
Okay.
I get the point. And of course, it would be the Rush book for me because I'm, of course, a diehard fan. And that's a great package. I mean, I don't know if obviously Daniel wouldn't have looked into it because he doesn't like Rush, but they have the early first single finally released now properly. That's because you can get on the vinyl version as well. Some unreleased stuff that that wasn't put out before. Some alternate takes and stuff like that. So it's really good. I mean, sure, if you're a really 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 diehard guy who's like me who got every little thing you can find online, then some of it is not as unreleasable as they thought it was. But it's a great package. I mean, some of these things like the performances at the Electric Ladyland are great. The Agora Ballroom shows are fantastic. So I highly recommend it if you're a Rush guy.
Yeah, I listened to some of that, Mark, the Rush one, actually yesterday, because, I'm an old-time Rush fan. I like the first 10 years of Rush. I'm really into the first 10 years of Rush. So that would be a possibility. Yeah, I wouldn't buy the Just to Kill jersey. The Wasp, I like Wasps too. Definitely the first, number of albums I really enjoy. At least the first three, and some of the other ones like the Crimson Idol, like Daniel said. I would maybe do the Wasp because I already have a lot of the Rush music, except I don't have the first single or anything like that. But I would probably go for the Wasp one. I'm
a wild child, come and love me.
Wild Child, great. Yeah, I know, I love that. Yeah. So, okay, I think that's gonna wrap it up. We don't want to go over time for Julian. He likes these nice and down to about an hour or so, or else we're gonna get the axe. Yeah, he's gonna give us the axe.
Overtime fees.
Overtime fees,
exactly.
right? Yeah, we're paying per minute here, hours. So, all right. So, well, I appreciate all you guys coming and joining live here, and the people that are watch later. That's fine, or listen later. Let us know on the boards or wherever you communicate with us. On the board or Facebook, wherever, or on YouTube. Comments. What you feel about the Just to Kill merch and the Kiss Army Storms Vegas, convention, I guess it is, and that sort of stuff, and anything else we talked about. So signing off from Ken, Mark, and Daniel. We'll see you next week, I think.
Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.
You're still live, Ken.
Am I still live?
Yes.
Why did it end?
this is only for the Patreons, the ones who pay. So now you get the really juicy
This is
stuff.
the bonus. Is this the bonus content? It says play.
You need
intro.
to find the button.
Where it says end transmission, hit that.
I said end stream.
Hey, you guys,
Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.